Phil and Will are back. Episode 5 predictions and power rankings tonight. Yeah, it's going to be the same old stuff. No more Varner. We're going to be living in a post-Varner Survivor world now. And I don't know if too much has changed from the last couple weeks, although maybe, just maybe, it's not as predictable this week as to which tribe's going to go like it was last week with Angkor.
I mean, I hope that Angkor doesn't go. It just how can they not go? They're such a bad tribe right now. They're so weak. They only have 4. It's kind of lame. I think they're going.
Well, once again, I don't know if you saw the newest video, the promo from CBS. It was, some survivors change, and it was like Spencer talking about trying to change. Then it was like, and some survivors just stay the same. And it was like Abby just like hating on Wu because Wu was like talking about his mom like suffering or something. So like, I don't know. They're trying to hint that Bayon is going, but it still seems like it's probably going to be Angkor. Hopefully this time it's actually Abby if Angkor goes. It seems like a lot of our listeners, with the exception of one, are getting tired of Abby. There was one who actually made a pretty valid case for why Abby could win the game, which we'll probably get to when we read the comments from last week's videos.
Wow.
It was actually kind of interesting, just talking about just from what do you call it? From like an objective standpoint, it was actually pretty good. So.
Well, from an objective standpoint, I mean, is she still in the game? Yes. So she has a chance of winning. But who is voting for her at the end? That's what I don't see. Unless she gets a redemption arc that, look, she didn't change for the first 4 episodes, and maybe she starts to turn around, though. I saw that preview too. It doesn't look that way.
No, and I'm going to go out on a limb this week and say Bayon is going. I do think they're actually going to lose. It seems like the challenge that's going to be happening for immunity seems like it's the slingshot challenge, where where everybody has to climb up to the top, and then one member has to shoot out targets or something. Either way, it looks like it's like a slingshot thing. I think they did it in, I forget what season they did it in, but it's something that Angkor could easily win if they just get hot and figure out the little trick to it. And it's not something that really there's no puzzle, and it doesn't involve strength. So,
and it's not physical at all. It sounds like it's kind of like luck, honestly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in Worlds Apart, actually. And I think like the best one at it was like Jen or Haley. Like one of them was like insanely good at it. So
it kind of reminds me of the boomerang challenge in Australia, and like how everyone was really bad at it. Remember that challenge?
No.
Really? You love Australia. So yeah, they stood in the center of like a target, and you have to stand, and obviously the goal of a boomerang is
I remember that.
Right. Yeah. And they were just landing like in the most random places. So yeah, if it is something like that, maybe Bayon loses. I still think Takeo just has no chance of going because of how little we saw of them last week. Though the preview, we see Keith, a good amount of Keith, and then we also see a good amount of Kimmy. So, and that's the preview that came at the end of last week's episode, not the weekend preview.
Yeah, and hopefully that's like the sign of things to come. We haven't seen Kimmy or Keith really at all this entire season. Hopefully now we start to open them up a little bit. Speaking of Keith, might as well start the power rankings for what I'm assuming is going to be the 5th straight week for you, and what's the 3rd straight week for me. I have Keith at number 1. No way Takeo goes. I also don't think there's any way Keith goes. In the preview, they finally show him talking about like a final 5-pack. Who knows what it's all about. But if we're finally going to get some Keith this week, we're not just going to get 1 week of Keith and then he's gone. We'll definitely get a couple more episodes of him. So I got Keith at number 1, not going anywhere. This is 3rd straight week. Guy safe as can be right now.
Yeah, I'm actually not going with Keith this week just because I just got to change it up. It's getting to, set my ways with Keith number 1. I'm going to go Jeremy, actually, just because if Bayon goes, he's going to, I think, be a swing vote, that he can go either way. He's got the original 4 Bayon, so he's in the numbers there. And then he's the only one that seems to be kind of talking to the other, Spencer and Kelly Wigglesworth. We haven't seen Kelly Wigglesworth on that tribe. We just haven't seen anything from her. So I think Jeremy, he'll be able to find his way in that tribe very easily. And he's got the idol. So no way Jeremy's going home.
Yeah, the cool thing about where Jeremy sits right now is, I mean, it really showed something last week in the Hero Challenge. That shows he's the strongest one on that tribe. His tribe knows he's the strongest one on that tribe. They sent him out there to do that. He seems like he's in with everybody. I mean, Jeremy really does play a good social game. Like I've said this before, he really understands how to suck up to people and then bitch about them at to the cameras. Wow, Willie just sent me something and it confused me. He really knows how to complain about them to the cameras. He's really good with that. And right now it seems like nobody's even thinking, let's get rid of Jeremy. Everybody's thinking, let's see if I can work with Jeremy. So I totally get you having him at number one. I have him a little bit lower, not much lower. But, yeah, he's definitely going to be safe for a little bit.
And I guess I'm just going to round out my top three.
Okay.
And it's the San Juan del Sur trio. And I don't know if I've done it. I think I may have done this before, but the top three are San Juan del Sur. I have Kelly at number two. That's Kelly Wentworth. She has an idol. She's on to KO. No way she's going. I mean, that'd be a shocker. And then Keith right there at three. He's on to KO as well. No way he goes either. You already talked about Keith. We're big fans of Keith, and I'm excited to see Keith. The only reason I don't have him at number one this week is because of that preview. And maybe he's getting involved, and maybe he doesn't do a very good job at getting involved. We've seen him kind of screw up the game before, so hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see more Keith. I'm excited for it. Interesting with the San Juan del Sur trio. Everybody knows how we feel about San Juan del Sur, and here they are as our top three, and really not a bad three characters to have on the show if they're going to keep going long. Like, I have no problem with any – I wouldn't be mad if that was the final three, which is really crazy with how much we disliked San Juan del Sur.
That would be the most insane final three ever. That would be so funny.
So random from the season where nobody was really playing, or didn't seem like they really understood how to play. For that to be the final three, that'd be great.
Yeah, the season that we don't appreciate because of how many just duds there were. The three that were actually fun to watch come back and make it to the end. I would root for it. I'm down. Sign me up.
Yeah, why not?
Jeremy's my winner pick. So if Jeremy can keep going, I'd love to have my pre-season pick be right.
Yeah, and now at my 2 and 3, this might seem a little weird, but I mean, I have complete faith in this happening. I have Tasha at 2 and Savage at 3 for the sole reason that there is no way Wu and Abby work together. Tasha and Savage aren't going to break apart from each other. If you haven't listened or read any of Jeff Varner's exit interviews, he has some really wonderful things to say about Tasha and Savage. He really, really, really hates Tasha. I don't know if he dislikes her in real life because he kept on saying Survivor Tasha, but he was saying that the editors give her such a great edit, and she is a really, really annoying person to live with, which is not that shocking because I believe in the preseason here, Trish was talking about Tasha being a really hard person to live with. And Varner had some interesting things to say about her. And then he also said that Savage wanted to be everything that Terry Dietz is, or Dietz.
Dietz. Jeez,
yeah,
get it right.
Dude, I'm sorry. I just thought that was really interesting. I mean, Varner seems like he keeps it real. I get that they voted him out, but he still has nice things to say about a lot of people, and he still tries to keep it nice. But I really don't think that he likes Savage or Tasha, which really could run in line with what some of the what some former players have said about these people. It doesn't seem like they're the most popular people from their seasons. It's almost like the Rupert thing. Everybody was rooting for Rupert because the editors gave him a great edit. And then every time he came back, people just disliked Rupert because they thought he was such a baby the entire time.
Yeah, I think this you can boil this down to, isn't everyone on Survivor going to be really annoying at some point? No matter what, you're out there spending 24/7 with these people. Someone's going to annoy you. I mean, you could go out there with your best friend, and all the time in real life, you spend time with someone you really like, but it's just like we podcast so much, you just annoy me.
Yeah, no, I hear you 100%. I'm just saying it's interesting coming from this standpoint where it's if Tasha looks like a hero and stuff. And I mean, Varner was saying some pretty bad things about Terry too. He was saying that at the beginning of the game, Terry had no idea what he was doing. He was pissing the girls off. He did say the thing about the English thing to Abby. He did confirm that. But at the same time, he also said that Terry started to turn it around, and he actually became a really likable guy, and everybody actually started to like Terry. it doesn't seem like he said that ever about Tasha or Savage. He doesn't understand the edits that they're getting at all. So
Well, it's also because he got voted out of the game. He was there to see Terry turn around. He helped Terry turn around. So he's trying to kind of toot his own horn a little bit and say, I'm taking credit for, Terry's reaction. But Tasha and Savage, they voted him out. He clearly didn't like them. I mean, do you think if let's say Varner is on Bayan to start originally, and Steven is on Takeo, I think Varner probably really likes Tasha and Savage. They don't lose a challenge. They just hang out and they have nice fun time. It was a tough time for him on that Angkor tribe. He went to tribal council twice with them and then got voted out only on the second tribal. So you can see why he wouldn't like them.
The one thing he was really complaining about with Tasha, he kept saying that Tasha wouldn't own anything she did, and she kept using God as like her card for everything. And like, I'm not surprised with that, especially from her initial confessional that we got where it was like, I already asked my church members all this stuff. And I could see how that would definitely get old if that was constantly happening. I mean, South Pacific's one of my least favorite seasons of all time. And the reason it is because they kept bringing the religion thing into it. And they'd be like, well, this was God's plan. This was God's plan. This was God's plan. That would get super annoying to live with, especially if you're like, well, you should make this decision. And she's like, well, God told me not to. It's like, did God really tell you not to? Does God really pay that close attention to Survivor? Does he really? Like, he's, there's other things going on than what you're doing in the game of Survivor. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, that would annoy you. But imagine God told Tasha to vote out Wu, and then you'd be like, oh, God told you God likes me. And you kind of roll with it better. I think he's a little bit upset about being voted out fourth when everyone knows he pre-gamed the hardest. He was such a big character. And so he's trying to kind of say, yeah, these people aren't that great. They voted me out. I mean, look, am I saying that Tasha and Savage aren't annoying? No, that's not what I'm saying. They're definitely annoying. Everyone's annoying in their own ways. I just think it's an exit interview. He just got voted out. He's,
Well, you know what, though? Most entertaining exit interviews like that maybe I've ever seen. They're ridiculous. I mean, they are really, really funny. Like, all of them have been really funny, at least that I've read or that I've heard.
I only heard one. I feel like with exit interviews, I used to read more than one or listen to more than one, but people just ask them the same questions, and they tend to give the same answer. So it's like you've read one, you've read them all. So
did you read the Gordon Holmes one?
No, I'm going to now just because you specifically mentioned this one, but that's what it tends to be.
Yeah, he called what do you call? He called Spencer brilliantly autistic. I was like, I don't even know what that means, but he said he thought like the way Spencer was acting around people with how bad his social game was. He said he thought that he was autistic, but brilliantly autistic because he's like the smartest guy out there. I mean, Varner was just he was not pulling anything, and he would sugarcoat everything afterwards, and he'd be like, yeah. But they're a great person. They're a great person. He did not do that with Tasha. He really did not do that with Tasha. So I don't know. Anyway, Tasha's 2, Savage is 3. I'll just say my 4 since you already mentioned them. I have Jeremy at 4. We've pretty much said everything you need to know about Jeremy. Everybody's on Team Jeremy. Everybody wants to be on Team Jeremy. If anybody from that tribe is going to go, it could literally be any of the other 5, but it cannot be Jeremy.
Well said. Well said. Okay. I'm going to list off my next 2 here, I guess, or 3. My next 3, just because we were just talking about them. I had Cass at number 4, and then Tasha at 5, Savage at 6 for everything you said. They have complete power of that tribe. The only way either one of them goes home is if it's a tie, a 2-2 tie. But like you said, Wu and Abby are not going to work together, so they will be safe, barring something crazy happening. And then Cass, she's on Takeo, and she's getting a very, very nice edit right now, and they're not going to cut her off. I think she's at least making the merge, right? Because her opening confessional was saying, I'm going to be nice to these people pre-merge. Once the merge hits, that's when Chaos Cass is coming back. I think they've set up for that for a while now. So I like Cass, sticking around.
Yeah, and I actually have Cass at number 5. And the thing with Cass is right now, we keep talking about the redemption arcs and the whole storyline of like redemption. She's the one who's getting the redemption arc. Like, she is 100% getting the redemption arc where it's like, yes, I can change. She's not going to finish better than she did in her first season, I don't think. although I wouldn't be surprised if she won at this point, which is really crazy for me to say. But I just think that they're just building this up, and nobody dislikes her right now. Yeah, they might be suspicious of her. They might think she's sneaky, but she's also on the Takeo side. If Keith is on to anything, he did say this is going to be our final 5. Who knows? I mean, unless they're leaving Cass out, which I really don't think they're doing, because I don't think they dislike Cass right now. I think Cass is getting along with everybody. So good for Cass. I think she really is getting the redemption arc. She's my number 5, your number 4, so we're both pretty much in agreement she's going to hang around. And I'll just go to my 6, since we're talking about that tribe. I have Sierra. I don't think Sierra goes. I mean, I think she's in a pretty good spot. She sat out at the immunity challenge last time, which I guess could be telling that she's weak. But so what? I mean, they're not going to lose. They still have Joe. They still have Terry. They still have Keith. And they still have Kelly Wentworth, who's pretty strong. So, I mean, they have everything that they need. They have Cass for puzzles. And if Sierra needs to do a puzzle, she can do a puzzle. So I don't see how that tribe ever loses. And I have Sierra at 6 just because I don't think she's even the first target on their minds. I still think it's Terry if they lose just because he's the outsider there.
Yeah, it's Terry or Kelly, and then Kelly has her idol, and Kelly seems to be working with the other people somewhat. So let's talk about this final 5 thing from Keith. It's clear that it's his tribe. It's everyone on Takeo except for one person. Who do you think is the person left out of that?
If I had to just say, I would say probably Terry. And if not Terry, then I would honestly say Joe, as weird as that would be.
Right? That's what I was thinking, too.
I'm thinking it's either Terry or Joe. I think one of those guys, that's who they're leaving out because it's like once we hit the merge, we can't do anything with them. And then I think Sierra's in a good spot. I think Keith is in a good spot. I think Cass is in a good spot. And I think, oh my God, I can't. And who the hell is the other one on the track? Kelly, thank you. Yeah, I think they're all in a good spot because I think Kelly worked her way in. I think her and Sierra are probably getting along pretty good. Seems like her and Cass are getting along well enough. And I feel like Keith probably would lean more towards Terry. So I could see the final 5 thing being that they leave out Joe.
Yeah, I think with Joe, you don't want Joe in your final 5 deal because then you're 2 immunity challenges away from him running away with it. Mm-hmm. And that's just too big of a risk to take. Terry, though, he doesn't – I feel like Terry and Keith we haven't seen anything from them, so I don't know. But I think it'd honestly make more sense if Joe's in that just because Terry is such an outsider. That's what I would think anyway.
Yeah, that's probably what makes more sense. It's just a matter of if they think that Joe's going to be too much of a problem further down the line. But Terry's my initial reaction too. Yeah,
and we have to remember Keith is the one saying this. So, yeah, it's obvious to us you don't want to bring Joe to your final 5. That might not be obvious to Keith. So he might say this. And then I don't know what context is this in, and I just – because we know they're not going to tribal council, or we are very certain we could be totally wrong, but it would be super, super shocking if they went to tribal. So why are they talking about a final 5 deal already when they haven't even had vote anyone else yet? So that's a little bit confusing there.
Yeah, and what's really weird about it is like we haven't seen even any hints that Takeo is going to go or that anything's going to happen there. I mean, we haven't seen anything in the preview coming out or the new preview. It was all Bayon and it was all Angkor. We haven't seen any storylines really from Takeo other than that Cass is changing and Kelly's fitting in better than Terry. So I would be really shocked if they lost, and I'm surprised that they're finally giving us some storyline here. Maybe, and I guess maybe it's just because soon they're going to go, or, I mean, if we really want to talk about it, if after these 3 tribes end up going to 2, which we pretty much got confirmation, right?
Yeah, the 3 tribes, I mean, this is not a big spoiler. I think most people saw this coming anyway. It was just kind of a matter of time. If you don't want to know, I'll give you like 5 seconds right now to, turn your sound off or just skip 30 seconds ahead of the video. We're not going to talk about it that long, but it will go down to, this is your last chance. It will go down back to 2 tribes at 14. So we have that to look forward to at least because Angkor, if they keep losing, that would be a bore. So I'm happy about this.
Yeah, and I think what's good about this going down to 2 tribes, or I think why they're showing maybe Takeo now is because once it gets to 2 tribes, maybe the Takeo members do have a strong alliance that can take out people. And if that's the case, we need to see some of that. And maybe it wasn't important for the last 4 episodes, but now it's going to be important soon. So you might as well build it up, kind of like what they did with Bayan last week. Maybe that was building up something big happening this week or next week. I mean, there's a lot of things that point to Bayan going possibly this week. I'm still I still think like Angor should lose, but it's a random challenge. So maybe Bayan is the one that goes finally.
If I had to put money on it, I would say Bayan is going to tribal council, especially with the slingshot challenge. But we'll get back to the rankings now just because we've had a lot of tangents so far already.
Yeah.
I have Sierra at number 7. I know you already mentioned Sierra. We haven't seen enough of her to warrant a boot yet, and she's on that Takeo tribe. And then I have Steven at 8, and I'm curious where you have Steven just because you think Bayan's going. I also think Steven is in a good position here. Monica, who seems to be the force driving against Spencer, she can either go with Jeremy and kind of stick with that old Bayan, or she can grab Kelly Wigglesworth, and they're going to target Spencer. I don't know why she would target Steven, because either way, I think Spencer is going to be your target. And it's not like I don't think Spencer can't find an idol, so it's Jeremy with the idol. So I think it's going to be like Monica or Spencer. It'll be like the A-B thing that we usually see. So I think Steven is fine.
Yeah, and I don't have Steven at nearly as low as I've had him in the past. I totally get where you're going with this. Forgot to mention, too, earlier with the Survivor pool thing, Survivor pool, I'm taking Savage this week just because if they go, it's not going to be him, and I think his days could be numbered shortly after that. And we haven't seen enough from the other tribes where if they do go, I feel safe enough taking anybody from those tribes. So I have Savage this week just because I don't think he's in a good position for the long run. So I don't know if you want to say yours. I don't know if you've gotten to yours yet.
That's a great pick, Savage. I really like that pick.
Is that what you were picking?
No. I hadn't really thought about it yet, to be honest. But now that you said that, I'm like, wow, that's a good one. I'll probably go Sierra just because she's on that Takeo tribe. And I think the final 5 thing, if they somehow do go, I think Sierra's in that 5 no matter what. So I think Sierra will be safe. And she has had we've seen such little from Sierra that she might not be a big character down the line. So I want to use her now when she's still in the game.
Yeah. All right. So Savage and Sierra, the eliminator picks this week. To the power rankings, I have Joe at 7. I know that seems a little high just because we just talked about the if they do have this final 5 deal and we think they might leave out Joe or Terry, they're just not going to lose. Like, they're just not going to lose. So Joe's at 7. I have Kelly Wentworth at 8 because they're not going to lose, and she has an idol. And, yeah, she's still on the outside of that dominant alliance, or at least she might be. It might be between her and Terry if they do vote. If it is between her and Terry and she doesn't see it coming, maybe she doesn't play the idol, so that's why I have her a little bit lower. But I think she's smart enough to know that it's coming. So I still have her at 8 instead of, 14.
Right. And, again, Takeo. So I got I got Joe at 9, just one below you. Joe, I would, you know what, as much as we're saying, Takeo's not going to go, it would be so fun to see how this 6 people would vote because there's so many ways they could go. They could say, look, we have a strong tribe. We can afford to get rid of Joe. He's such a threat. They might just flip it on Cash. He's being too nice. They might just say Terry's on the outs or Kelly, is playing too hard. I mean, there is so many ways Takeo could go. It's kind of a shame that it's not even a possibility really for them to go to tribal.
Yeah, it's a little annoying. I mean, you like to see it super evenly dispersed when they do the 3 tribes. I mean, Worlds Apart really was probably the best we got from the 3 tribe thing. Even though, did Blue Collar actually go? They did go, right? Because Lindsay got.
Yeah, they voted Lindsay. Yeah.
So Worlds Apart was a rare instance where we got all 3 tribes to go. Maybe Takeo goes next week, and maybe that's why they're setting it up this week. But I really think that it's Bayan or Angor this week. I'm hoping it's Bayan just so that we can actually see some of them play the game. Because, I mean, we haven't gotten to see Jeremy play the game yet. We haven't gotten to see Monica or Kimmy or Steven really play the game yet. I want to see them actually have to do something and actually have to vote somebody out. I mean, that's when it gets good, when these people actually survive tribal councils. So
yeah, isn't this crazy that we started with a cast of 20 people and 8 of them have yet to even go to tribal council? And
That's crazy.
we're 4 episodes in.
And there's been 5 tribes on the whole season already. That's what's even crazier. Like, you start out with 2 tribes, and then you go down to 3 tribes, and still 8 people have not been. Like, that just shows how lopsided these tribes have been, even though it's hard to say the original Bayan and the original Takeo were that lopsided, considering it was only 2 challenges. You never know, like, how that's going to turn around. But this Angkor tribe, I mean, was clearly outmatched from the beginning. I mean, they were screwed, and they had to build their own camp. Like, get the hell out of here. There was no way. So, I mean, yeah, 8 people have not been to tribal. Let's get some of those people there. Hopefully we can get half of them there this week when Bayan or Takeo go. At 9, I have Kimmy. We finally heard from her in the preview. I think we're going to get a lot of Kimmy this week. I don't think we're just going to get a lot of Kimmy and she's going to go home. I think that she's going to stir up the pot a little bit, and she's going to be mad about somebody being a snake. I mean, that's what she said. If you had her as the person who says the episode title, you get the points for the prop bet game because they already showed it in the preview.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that.
Yeah, snake in the grass, man. They had her saying it already. But, yeah, I think Kimmy is really, going to start to get some airtime here, and it's not just going to be a one and done. So Kimmy number 9 this week. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I kind of worry about Kimmy just because if any player, I mean, we've said this about Monica. I think if any player is going to get that edit where they're just kind of in the background until their boot episode, it's going to be Monica or Kimmy. So if Bayan ends up going, I don't know. It could not turn out so well for them. I mean, I have Monica much lower than Kimmy, but I definitely put Kimmy a little bit lower in my list. At 10, I have Spencer. Spencer's like overwhelmingly positive edit, and he's in the preview. I think he's going to stick around for a while, Spencer, because they're saying, I mean, if the whole theme of this season is that if you change, you're rewarded, and kind of Spencer and Cass really are like the poster child of this theme. He's not going to go home this early because he needs to be rewarded for his change.
Yeah, I mean, I hope Spencer hangs around at least a little bit longer. I'm at the point now on this season, and this is weird, but like I'm at the point of this season where I'm not really rooting for anyone right now. It's more I'm just happy with whatever happens as long as it's entertaining. And like with Worlds Apart and stuff, like we were rooting from Jen pretty hard. You and me at the beginning of that season. Like we really liked Jen. We were like, totally about Jen going on to win the game, and then she doesn't. We were rooting for the no-collar people once the merge hit, with Joe, even though I wasn't a huge fan, but Joe, Haley, and Jen. Like we wanted them to do well. And this season, I'm just kind of sitting back and I'm like, okay, just let another tribe go to tribal other than Angkor, and I'm okay with it. I mean, I like Spencer a lot, but if Spencer went home this week and didn't get the complete redemption arc, that would be totally fine with me. And it would be kind of funny that he tried so hard and still could not get it.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it. There's definitely other people I'd rather go. Like if it's a toss-up between Spencer and Monica, which it very well could be, I would rather see Monica go just because I think Spencer can provide more entertainment down the line and provided more entertainment in his original season. So it'd be funny to see, like you said, I want it to be entertaining. And there's so many good people on this cast. Like Varner went last week. Yeah, we lost Varner, but that was a great time he was on the show, and now we have more people we'll get to interact with. So yeah, I'm kind of in your camp. I'm rooting for some players, but I think it's going to be entertaining no matter what with this cast.
Yeah, and I think what's kind of crazy about this is like you have if this was a regular original Survivor season and they started with these 16 people, like this could be a 16-person starting cast and it's completely fine. Like we lost Varner at the beginning, which was a loss, like a big loss, but we didn't lose so much that you're sitting there going, oh my God, we're still carrying around 3 characters of dead weight. Like I honestly don't believe Monica is dead weight, and I don't believe Kimmy is dead weight, and Keith clearly isn't dead weight. So, like, I don't feel like these are dead weight characters. I just think they're getting a little overshadowed.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, we've said this a lot now. I mean, you look, it's PG, Kareen, we got Varner. Phil is now gone. While Phil's gone, I will get to my number 11. And that is, I have Kelly Wigglesworth at number 11. I really don't envy her position on that Bayan tribe, but I kind of have to think, wait a second. This is Kelly Wigglesworth here, a Survivor legend. Is she really going to go after getting such little airtime? And probably not. Like, she's going to stick around for another maybe 1 or 2 episodes. This would actually be a good eliminator pick, I think. But yeah, I have her 11 just because, it's 4-2. She's part of that too. And Spencer seems to be making connections with the other people. Kelly isn't. We haven't seen anything from her. So I do worry a little bit about Kelly.
Yeah, I have Kelly way lower, like way lower. Like I have her almost at the end. I think Kelly's in a lot of trouble this week. But my 10, which I don't think I got to my 10 yet. I have Steven at 10, so way higher than I've had him in the past. They did show a little bit more of Bayan last week, and I really do think it's going to come down to Monica, Wigglesworth, or Spencer as the first boot from that tribe. I think Kimmy and Jeremy are safe just because Jeremy's getting a really good edit and Kimmy's got nothing so far. And I think Steven's in a little bit of a better position just because it doesn't seem like his name is coming up so much right now. It seems like it's like, well, we can get rid of Wigglesworth or we can get rid of Spencer. And it seems like Monica might actually play too hard, which who would have thought coming into the season that Monica might play too hard and get herself voted out by trying to align with everybody?
Yeah, I worry for Monica a lot. I'm kind of surprised that you have Kelly Wigglesworth so low. I'm interested to hear once you get down to her.
Yeah, and then my number 11, I actually have Wu. This might be a little high for Wu, especially if Anchor goes. It might be like, well, let's get rid of Wu. Why wouldn't we get rid of Wu? I think Abby 100% has to be the pick this week because they know if they lose this one, then they don't know if there's going to be another tribe swap. Like they don't know it's coming yet. So they have to know, like, if we lose this one and we have the three of us as Tasha, Savage, and Wu, we can beat any three people from any of the other tribes. If our three people is Tasha, Savage, and Abby Maria, we're screwed and Abby's nuts. So, like, even if they do win a challenge and they go and they get to the tribe swap with Abby Maria could just be like, oh, they were mean to me. I didn't like them. Like, they need to stick with Wu and show loyalty to Wu. I think Wu's in a better spot. I think last week was like one of those tribal councils where when you look back on a rewatch of the season, you go, oh, that's how he made it far in the game. Crazy to think he was almost the fourth person voted out of the game.
I'm rooting for Wu a lot. Because I think he's actually, hopefully he wakes up, but I love seeing the fight in him last episode and the last couple episodes actually. And yeah, he's not the best player, but he's a different kind of player. We have a lot of Steven, Spencer, Jeremy, even Kelly Wentworth just talking about strategy the whole time. I think Wu is kind of an older school player, and I'd like to see him go far.
Yeah, it's at the point where I didn't want Wu on this season, and now that he's there, it was almost like Keith. I really didn't care. I didn't really vote for him to get on the season. I would have liked to see like somebody like Jim Rice get on or Shane, obviously. But once Keith and Wu got on, it's like, okay, now let's see what they do. And so far, Keith really hasn't done anything, so I'm looking forward to what he does do. But Wu really has brought something to this season that you never expected a guy like Wu to bring. I mean, that last episode was really good with him. Like, that was a really good episode. And even like when he was impressing us in the earlier episodes, like telling Shireen and Spencer to just go away, like, he's playing the game a little bit more this time, and I think he really wants to be there as opposed to the first time where it was like, this is cool, I'm having a good time. Now I think he really realizes, like, I can win this game. I just actually have to do stuff.
Yeah, and it helps for Wu that he has gone to every tribal council, just so we've gotten a lot of him already pretty much for that reason, and he hasn't done anything crazy, but like you said, I didn't really want Wu to be on the season, and right now he's one of the more entertaining players.
Yeah, who would have thought you would ever say that? I'll do my 12 since you've been going first the entire time. My 12, I have Spencer. I do think he's in a little bit of danger. I think it's coming down to Monica and Wigglesworth if that tribe loses, and I think that tribe's going to lose, so I think it's going to come down to Monica and Wigglesworth. Seems like Spencer, as you said last week, could wiggle his way out of it. And I think what he's going to do is he's going to throw Wigglesworth under the bus because it seems like Spencer has made a connection with Jeremy no matter how forced it feels. And if he's made a connection with Jeremy, and it seems like he's already made a connection with Monica, that's two people from the opposing tribe you've made a connection with.
But his connection with Monica wasn't a connection. It was Monica.
Okay.
It was Monica saying, look, I think Spencer is, lying to me. I don't buy into his BS.
Yeah, okay, there's that. But then there's also, once again, you look at the previews and all the images and crap from, that are coming up from the next episode. And, like, Monica and him are, like, hanging out in the shelter like the entire time. So I think him and Monica are actually getting along really well. And I think him moving in with Monica and Jeremy there. Kimmy, I don't know where her head's at, but I don't think it really matters where her head's at. I think Steven will do anything just to feel wanted right now. So if they say, let's vote out Wigglesworth, he'll be like, okay, let's get rid of Wigglesworth. I don't think they're going to go for Spencer, though, because I don't think Steven's going to spearhead anything. And I don't think that Jeremy's going to try to get rid of Spencer. And I think Monica's a little iffy on it. She might try to get rid of Spencer. It seemed like she wanted that girls thing, but I don't know. It just seems like they're getting along a little bit better. And I'm telling you, I think Monica might overplay her way out of this game.
Yeah, I think that's possible, but I can't believe you think Monica and Spencer have a good connection. I mean, they were talking, and then Monica says, I don't buy it. Spencer's up to something. He's up to no good. And yeah, there's photos of them like, being all buddy-buddy in the shelter, but keep your enemies close, right? I mean, maybe she's doing that, to make Spencer feel comfortable, to make him feel like he's in a good position, but really she wants him out of here. And the mention of the Girls Alliance is also like, whoever she's going to target, it's going to be a male. And Spencer's the only male that's not on her original Bayan. I don't see any reason why Monica won't target Spencer.
Well, here's my thing, though. I think that she might actually try to target somebody like Steven, and that might end up setting off the chain of events that gets her gone, because people are going to think maybe she is getting too close to Spencer. I mean, they're seeing her sitting there in the shelter with Spencer. I mean, you get suspicious no matter what. Like, you're going to get suspicious of it. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I also think if it was like a tribe of 8 or a tribe of 10, and then there are 2 people in the shelter, frequently sitting next to each other, yeah, you should be a little suspicious. But when there's 6 people, it's like you're going to end up sitting next to everybody pretty much every day, you would think, whether you're eating, getting water, making fire. I mean, there's 6 of you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking at anything. I just don't think Spencer's in that much trouble this week.
Yeah, the reason I have Spencer so high is just because of his overwhelmingly positive edit. And it just suggests that he's going to be, playing this game for a lot longer, at least until the merge. So I have Spencer. Where do I have him? I have him at 10. So yeah, I'm pretty confident he's not going to go home. I am worried about Monica. I will say, I forget where I'm at now. I think you went through. I'm at 12. I have Kimmy at 12. Just saying, like earlier, maybe she does have her breakout episode in episode 5, and then maybe she goes home. If Monica does kind of get tight with Jeremy, maybe Jeremy says, I want Kimmy gone, because Kimmy is someone that Jeremy mentioned pregame for wanting to target first. And I know we're so far away from pregame. I don't know we're 12 days into the game. We will be 15.
We're about 12 days in.
Yeah, we'll be 15 days in the game by the end of the episode. So I doubt that really has any play. But Jeremy wants to keep the threats around. So I think he wants to keep Steven around, wants to keep Spencer around, because he knows they're, big threats that people are going to target when the merge comes. So to get someone out like Kimmy is very helpful to Jeremy's game. And Jeremy does seem to have a lot of power and sway on that tribe. So I do kind of worry about Kimmy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Kimmy definitely could be in trouble. I just think that every character on this season is going to get time. I mean, we've been saying it the whole time. I think everybody here is going to get some screen time. And to have Kimmy get none, and then just go, it's a little, I don't know, it'd be a little weird, because it just seems like, I mean, if you look at the people who have been voted out, they've gotten huge screen time. They have gotten huge screen time. So we'll see what ends up happening.
It's crazy. Every person that has been voted out has been every tribal council. So I think that's also a big reason for that.
It's been all Takeo. That's what it is. It's been all Takeo. And that's why we've gotten to know the Takeo people so much more than the original Bayan people. I mean, we haven't gotten to know Kimmy, Keith, Sierra, Monica. We're getting there, but we haven't really heard too much from her. We didn't hear from him.
Even Steven is such a big player.
All we know is that Steven's a doof, which we all know he's not a doof. So you're not fooling us. But, that's that whole original tribe, and that's why we probably haven't heard much from them at all. It'll be interesting to see if we finally start to hear, from these people, because, let's get them into the mix of it. I mean, we haven't even heard that much craziness from Cass. Like, we've heard some from Cass. She's pretty much made her presence in every episode, but it hasn't been like an overbearing amount of Cass, which I really thought we were going to get when the season started.
It's coming. I really think it is coming. I think it's been set up nicely since the premiere that she's going to unleash Chaos Cass come merge. So I'm looking forward to that. At 13, I have Wu. It's pretty much, I think if Angor goes, I really think they're going to target Abby, just because Tasha and Varner are savage. They're together no matter what, and it's just going to be them deciding. Like, Wu and Abby probably vote for each other, and then they did get to decide. And Abby's crazy, and they know she's crazy. I mean, it's not like what are they thinking, that they're going to have Abby's trust for the remainder of the game? I don't see how they think that. if they want any chance at winning the next challenge, they got to keep Wu. So I think he's not safe, but I would be pretty shocked if Wu ends up going. So I have him at 13.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if Wu went home, just because, they have to be thinking a little bit further down the line. And Wu is so much better of a person to align with. I mean, Abby's flipped every single episode. So, why would you not think she'd eventually flip on you? And I think Savage and Tasha are smart enough to realize that. I just think they were more worried about Varner further down the line as an actual threat to win the game. And I don't think they're worried about Abby that way.
And it seems like they just didn't get along with Jeff. I don't even know. I mean, there are a lot of reasons. He's not good physically. He is a strategic threat. And if you're not getting along at camp, Varner's exit interviews make it sound like, there's really no reason to keep him around. So maybe that was a lot easier than we thought. Is there any chance they vote out Wu, saying, look, if we vote out Wu, because we have Abby's vote come the merge, she'll be loyal to us if we keep her. And if we lose the next challenge, we can easily get rid of Abby. And then it's just kind of like they're the Malcolm and Denise. And maybe there's another swap or a merge, and that they –
my thing is that's how they should be thinking about Wu, though, because I think they would have to assume Wu would be more loyal than Abby would, because Abby's already proved to be all over the place, and Wu in his first season was very loyal, and he was loyal to PG here, almost to the point where he got voted out, and I think that Wu would be loyal to them if they kept him around. So I would be thinking that way with Wu, and if you lose the next challenge, just get rid of him.
Yeah, but if you're saying Wu is so loyal and they know Wu is loyal, who is he loyal to? They probably, they talk. They're on the beach for, the whole episode's 3 days of them having nothing to do. They talk about probably the other tribal councils. Do they know that Wu is, aligned with Terry, Kelly Wigglesworth, Kelly Wentworth?
Sure. Supposedly, when Varner did that little blow up that he had at the challenge, he just spilled everything about the alliances. So maybe.
Yeah, I think that's where the worry comes in, that he is loyal, but he's actually loyal to people that are in the other tribe. So
yeah,
I can see then let's get Wu out, and then worst comes to worst, we just vote Abby out.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, on Wednesday. But I just think that it would have to be Abby before Wu. God, please let it be Abby before Wu.
And I hope so. For the sake of the show, if we get another Abby-centric episode and she doesn't go home, that would really have a pretty bad taint on this season. It's been a good season, but it's getting a little much now. This is I draw the line at episode 4. We need to either get rid of Abby or show us new characters.
Yeah, she can't be the whole thing the entire time. We're getting the same thing from her every week. All right, anyway, now at 13, I have Terry, just because if Takeo goes, that's who's going to go. I'm 90% sure. I have 2 people from Bayan behind him and Abby behind him, just because I figure that he's going to go. That's why I have him this low if Takeo loses. But I honestly couldn't decide whether it's going to be Monica or Wigglesworth this week. So I put both of them behind Terry and just put Terry at 13.
Gotcha. I still think Wigglesworth is.
You're not talking. Oh, there was no sound. Speak again.
I still think Wigglesworth is going to be safe, just because we have to see more from her. I have Terry at 14. The only really reason here is that final 5 line from Keith. I can totally see Terry being left out of that, and it's a little scary, the final 5 line. Especially a guy from Keith, who since when is he thinking all the way down to final 5? You know what I mean?
Maybe he just counted wrong and thought that it was gonna. Maybe he thought there were only 5 people on his tribe.
Wouldn't that be so funny? We're just analyzing this, and he's like, Keith sees 5 other people standing in front of him. Oh, there's 5 of us. He's not counting himself. That would be pretty funny.
That would be Keith.
And then I'm just going to round mine off here just because I only have 2 left. I have Monica at 15 and then Abby at 16. Abby, it's more of a hopeful thing because I really want Abby to just get off of this great season because she can ruin it. It's really, if it continues down this path, it's not good for the season. And then Monica, if Bayan goes, which there's a very good chance they do, I think it's been set up that she can go. It's perfectly set up. She had one confessional last week, a strategic confessional, and then the week before she had kind of a generic confessional. So we have been seeing snips and pieces of Monica And if Spencer and Jeremy are like, hey, she's playing the game too hard, she wants you gone, let's take her out.
Yeah, I think Monica. If I'm Monica, I'm really nervous this week. I have her at 14. Like I said, I think she might actually overplay her way out of the game. And we saw Varner do it. We saw Vetus do it. We saw Shireen do it. PG didn't really do it so much. I don't really know. Like, I guess she Abby'd her way out. But the other three have overplayed the game. And I think Monica, although she's been more subtle and laid back and in the background of this season, she still might be overplaying, trying to reach out to Spencer, trying to get an all-girls alliance, trying to reach out. She might just be putting too many seeds out there, and it might be your end. At 15, I have Wigglesworth. 16, I have Abby Maria. The reason I put Wigglesworth this low, yeah, she's the Survivor legend, the first ever runner-up. She's this character, the only one of the original core four that did not come back. My problem with Kelly Wigglesworth is she's just simply not that entertaining. So they gave her screen time at the beginning. They gave her some screen time in episode 2. Episode 3 and 4, her tribe didn't lose, so they ignored her. They kind of let you know she was there through other people. Now episode 5 comes. Maybe they give her a couple of confessionals, and she goes home. Like, they gave her a little bit of screen time, as much as they felt they needed to. The first episode for Kelly Wigglesworth was the important one because that was her coming back from season 1. Now there's not really a storyline for her, and she doesn't seem like she's really that into it. So I think Kelly Wigglesworth could easily be the one voted out this week if Bayan loses.
But if Kelly was going this week, don't you think we would have heard from her? We haven't heard from her once since the tribe swap, right? Like, she did not have a confessional episode 3. She did not have a confessional episode 4, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So I'm way more fearful for Monica. I'm surprised you have Kelly that low. I mean, obviously it could be her because, she's not in the numbers there. But I think Monica seems like the prime target for Bayan.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Wigglesworth just being from the original to KO might hurt her. We haven't seen a Bayan go yet. I mean, that's crazy because it seems like it's been a really unpredictable season, and it's been 4 straight to KO members. Like, this is one of those seasons in retrospect you might sit down and watch it, or like you might just look at the boot list and be like, wow, I forgot KO had such little control over the game. And really, it was just craziness. Like, it wasn't that they had such little control over the game. It was just, it's been crazy the entire time.
It would be so cool if TKO, one of them won. It'd be really impressive. Like, if Kelly Wentworth can pull it out.
Yeah, I hope she can. I mean, that's my winner pick. But at 16, Abby Maria, same thing as you. Wishful thinking. It seems like it's the only reasonable thing to do. Like, you have to get rid of Abby Maria if you lose. You would hope that's who they would go with. Who knows? We'll see. I don't know. If Angkor loses, it's got to be Abby. I'm kind of hoping it's Abby. We'll see.
So here's my dilemma now. I want Abby gone so badly, but I want to see another tribe go to tribal council so badly. It's like, what would you rather have happen?
I would rather another tribe go and we don't get so much Abby this episode.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
If that happens, that's fine, because as long as, like, when the other tribe loses, maybe we get 1 or 2 confessionals from Abby. But if the other tribe loses and we get like 6 confessionals from Abby, then that's going to be annoying because it's like, well, they didn't lose and we had to hear from her the entire time. Like, if we hear a little bit from her and a little bit from Tasha and a little bit from Savage and a little bit from Blue and then Bayan loses, I'm totally fine with that. But if it's a lot of Abby and none of the other 3 on that tribe and then Bayan loses, like, why did we have to watch that? So that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Right, man. How bad would it be? Angor loses, we get a bunch of Abby, and then they vote off Wu. How miserable would that be?
Oh my god, that would be bad. Yeah, that would be bad. So,
all right, well, that's the power rankings. What do you want to get into here? You want to?
I guess we'll get into last week's comments. I'll start with Twitter, but first, let's just bring up the whole MVP LVP debacle that me and Will forgot to bring up last week. We could not figure out. I mean, we didn't bring it up. We didn't really get any votes. We could not figure out a least valuable player. Like, we could not come up with one because we saw so little of every tribe, and the only one who really played bad was Varner, and he went home. And we said you can't put points, you can't make the least valuable player the person who was voted off. So we actually didn't have an LVP. MVP, we agreed on Savage earlier in the week, and now, of course, Willie tries to change it so that he can look good and get the stupid points because he's greedy. But we did say Savage earlier in the week, mainly just because he won that challenge and didn't go home. And he had the numbers on his side.
Yeah, I think the hero challenge is probably what puts it over for Savage. But other than that, it's not like he did all that much. And I think
No, he didn't do all that much.
I think Cass is a very legitimate option, and I think Tasha is a very legitimate option. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Wu, but like Wu almost went home. He could be LVP. He could be, but he didn't go home. I don't know. It's tough. I kind of agree with you. Unless we get like an overwhelming amount of comments saying it needs to be Tasha, it needs to be Cass, I think we give it to Savage here, especially because am I beating you? I think you need the points too.
I think it's really close. I think I'm only down like 1. So no, not really. But no, well, my whole thing is we saw like nothing from Takeo. The little bit that we saw from Cass, yeah, she could be MP, but Kelly Wentworth's still suspicious of her. So she didn't make any huge game move. It just made it look like maybe they're setting up for Cass to try to change and fail. With Bayan, we saw like nothing. There was nobody who was overwhelmingly good and nobody was overwhelmingly bad. We didn't get any like furthering of the storyline. We just saw that Monica did one thing and said, oh, maybe an all-girls alliance, and Spencer was trying, but did Spencer really do anything great? And then with Encore, Savage won that competition after like not eating. He wins the hero challenge, goes out, gets the numbers with him, Tasha. They make sure they get the person out that they want out. And to me, Abby and Wu might have done enough just from his argument, but Abby did not do enough to, get an MVP vote. And Tasha really didn't do anything to change it. I mean, she just tried to settle down Abby, which really ended up being unnecessary anyway, because all they needed was Wu's vote to vote out Varner. So I don't know. I just think it's got to be Savage mainly because of the challenge, and we don't normally do it. We don't normally give MVPs just because of challenges, but that was like the main, positive point for somebody in the episode.
Yeah, but it didn't even help them win immunity. So it was kind of like, what did it even do? They were like fed for one night. I hear you though. I'll give it to Savage. I'm done. I'll give it to Savage. Do we want to get into the bet list game now or after the comments?
No, I'll make them wait.
Okay.
Yeah, make everybody wait. This way they actually listen to the end. I'm assuming everybody just turns it off at this point.
I mean, I think comments are more interesting than the bet list game. Yeah. But
Well, that's true, but who knows? Where were we last time? Do you remember?
I do not. No, I know Jim Beam had to put a big comment, and it was somewhere before then, and he had some that we did read, so it's in between his comments.
Okay,
that makes
this
sense.
is going to be fun. We did Butters. We did the Tasha's getting a good edit. Okay, I remember reading that one. Okay, we're going through here. This is our professionalism. We make sure to do this.
Or we can start with the Twitter stuff.
Oh, yeah, let's start with the Twitter stuff. That's easier, and then we can figure it out from there. This is all from Ravinder Sharma, but I think he always watches a little late, and then he always leaves a bunch of comments on here. It's always kind of fun to read. If Angor goes to Tribal next, please tell me that Abby is going out. I can't stand her anymore. Pre-merge, the new schooler players are dominating. Joe, Kelly Wentworth, Jeremy, Tasha, etc. Will the old schoolers dominate post-merge? What do you think about that? I don't think there's going to be enough old schoolers left to dominate post-merge.
Yeah, the old schoolers are, kind of dropping, and they're not in very good positions either. Like, I don't think Terry is long for this game. We see Kimmy not in the best position on her tribe. I mean, not that she's in a terrible position. We just haven't seen enough of her to say, oh, she's going to be a character that lasts long. And the whole season just didn't start with that many old school players to begin with. So I think it's going to be hard for an old school player to win.
Yeah, and it really depends where you draw the line for old school, because, I mean, everybody's trying to force in like that Monica and Steven are definitely old school players, but are they really like old school players? Like, I don't know. I feel like the game changed once. Really, I feel like the game changed like once fans versus favorites the first time happened. I feel like after that it was complete new school. Gabon being the first, or fans versus favorites being the first new school season. At least that's how I look at it. But
well, that would be perfect, right? Because
it's halfway.
That's 16, and it's exactly halfway.
Yes. So, I mean, I guess that would make sense. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be enough of them left. I think Savage is screaming like merge boot, or, he wins one challenge and goes somewhere. I don't feel like Savage is going all the way to the end of this game. He's gotten a huge edit, but I just don't think he's going to last all that long. And another thing, too, is we keep talking about it. Wu is an old school type player. You know what I mean? Like, Jeremy is like an old school type player. So there are some old school type players that played recently. Like Spencer and Cass are like definitely new school. But like somebody like like Wu, I mean, he's all about the, dude, this is cool, like this is fun, and just don't out. Like, and that's really old school. So it really depends too, because like how they actually play the game, So anyway, back to he has a couple more here. The Tribal Council was insane. Wu's pitch was so emotional. He was spared without a doubt MVP. So there's the MVP vote.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, which is me anyway, so I'm cool with that. Did CBS take the editing serious? I'd never believed that Varner would go by episode 4 with the kind of edit he got. Do you agree with that, or do you kind of disagree with that? I kind of disagree.
I hear a lot of people saying this kind of online, like, wow, that was so shocking. They were playing up Varner as the winner, and I really never got that from him. I think he was just such a good narrator. His confessionals were so good. You're going to see a lot of him no matter how long he lasts in the game. And we say the opposite for a lot of players, like Kelly Wigglesworth. Kelly Wigglesworth could be the runner-up of this season, which would be a crazy arc to wait 15 years, come back, and be the runner-up again. But she's just not that entertaining. So she could go out this episode. She could go out in the finale or never go out. So I think it just depends on the character. And I really wasn't that shocked with Varner.
No, I wasn't shocked he went either. I think he got a really over-the-top edit, and it is what it is with him. I'm sad he's gone, but we got really 4 great episodes from him, and he's a great character. I don't know how far he was going to go in the game anyway. So I don't know. I'm not that surprised. Varner talking to Wigglesworth after the last immunity challenge had a lot to do with his vote out tonight. I definitely agree with that. And then Spencer, Keith, Abby, and Terry have found idols in their past. Surprisingly, none of them are looking for them now. That is kind of interesting.
I don't think it's that they're not looking. I think it's just we're not seeing them looking and coming up empty. We mentioned this on the last recap. It's like you don't want to, watch someone look for something and not find it. It's just not exciting TV.
Yeah.
But look at this on Twitter. I mean, if you tweet, you get your whole thing read, it seems. So maybe that'll be a way to go.
He had 6 tweets. So, nobody ever tweets at us. Phil_and_Will. It's the most fun. Oh yeah, actually Zach Valentine did put LVP Jeff Probst.
That doesn't count.
Blindfolded all the contestants and watched with a smile as they suffered painful injury. That's kind of funny though. And then MVP Joe didn't stumble upon an idol during the challenge because he seemed to be able to find everything else with ease. That's
very funny. 2 funny comments.
There you go. Zach Valentine. Valentine. I'm not sure. So I guess Zach Valentine's pretty much where we left off.
Really? I saw an interesting one. I found one before, I think, by 5 white guys. Really hoping it comes out in the open that idols are at challenges will be great to watch. Did we read that one?
Yeah, we did read that one.
Oh, well, it will be great to watch. I'm really excited.
We can say both.
Especially come merge. That's going to be really interesting because it's everyone for themselves. It's like almost who cares if someone sees you grab it if you're on the block. Like you really need it. So that will be so much fun. Jeremy and Kelly are the only ones who know. Maybe the Angkor idol comes into play in episode 5. That would be bearable to keep seeing that tribe if that idol clue is found. Because you know what I kind of want to see is someone not get the idol at a challenge.
It seems like they've all kind of figured it out how to do it sneaky.
Yeah, I mean we're 2 for 2.
I either want to see somebody not be able to find it or somebody catch somebody finding it. That would be kind of cool too. But Zach Valentine, he has a pretty good comment before the MVP LVP things. It's a little long, but I'll just read the first question here. Any chance that Varner suffered an injury that was more serious than he or the show let on, and maybe he did not really try as hard to stay in the game as it showed?
I don't think so. I mean, I think he was actually really hurt. I think the injury was serious, but we saw that pitch at Tribal Council. I mean, you can't edit that. That was him putting everything out there. Even Jeff Probst said that's a great pitch.
Yeah. Do you think though? I mean, do you think the injury had something to do with this? I know that he was weak anyway, but do you think that his injury might have been more serious? Not that he didn't want to stay in the game because he clearly wanted to stay in the game, I think. But do you think that his injury might have played more on their minds as to why they got rid of him? Or do you think he was gone anyway?
If you give me a full healthy Varner in that situation, I still think he goes. I think there were so many other things going on. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. Isaac Escobar, it's going to be funny if Wu, Savage, and Tasha vote Abby even after Wu promised loyalty to Abby. That will be fantastic. I want to see Abby go out in like a fit of rage, like get voted out and like just lose her mind because she really thinks she's staying. Almost like how Russell Swan went out in the Philippines, where he really did not think he was going out when it was Denise and Malcolm. He really thought he was fine. And when he got like voted out, like that might be the most shocked we've ever seen somebody at tribal council. And it was like, what? But I want to see Abby be that shocked and then get really mad instead of just being like docile, so.
Oh, I'd love to see an Abby blindside. That would make my night.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun to see. I think we did skip over a comment here. John Smith, question for the prediction episode. Do you think that the former Bayan will pagong the former Takio once the merge hits? There might not be any Takio left. It might just be all Bayan come the merge.
Oh, I figured it out. I was doing it by oh, wow, that's why. I had it by top comments. That's why it was weird. Lorette and Neuron was actually our last one, so this is okay. So which one was this? I'm sorry.
So do you think Bayan is going to, pagong the Takio tribe? Come the merge?
I don't think they are. Just because I think like what's happening with these three tribe things is they're actually going to be these three tribes together longer than they were the two tribes. So I think they're actually going to bond more at these tribes. Plus there's less people, so it's more of like I can actually get to know this person.
Yeah, and I also think that it depends on which tribes go to tribal. If Angkor goes the next two episodes and the new Takeo and the new Bayan never have to vote, then we might see more of a pagonging. But once they go to tribal and they have to vote people out and like you prove your loyalty, like you can talk about an alliance all you want. It really doesn't mean anything until you write someone's name down. That's when you kind of prove where you lie. As they say all the time, it's a line in the sand. So I think I hope for more of these tribes to go to tribal, and that so when the merge does come, it's kind of a big scramble and lots of alliances. So I will say no. I don't think it's going to be a pagonging.
And if it is a pagonging, I almost feel like it's going to be like the Worlds Apart pagonging, where it's like, wow, that was a pagonging technically, but not by any means was it predictable every single episode. So I don't know.
Yeah, not a Redemption Island pagonging.
Oh God, please no. This season started off really good too, so hopefully it's not. Now I have them in order, so I can actually go here. So Dylan Peddle. Jeff Varner was the first one to be voted off the season that didn't make it far enough in their previous season to be a part of the jury. Sad, man. It would have been cool to see Varner at least make the jury once and give a pretty cool speech, because I think his speech would have been pretty funny because he would have just called everybody out on their bullshit.
Yeah, he'd be good. He'd be good on jury. We know that.
Yeah. Jim Beam, I had Varner going home prior to the airing of last episode. I think either Spencer or Terry goes home next week. We have them kind of low. We still think Monica, Wigglesworth, or Abby. Or you don't think Wigglesworth, but I'd say Monica, Wigglesworth, Abby, maybe Spencer. I just don't see Takeo losing for Terry to go.
Yeah. I also think throw a Wu in there. I mean, as sad as that sounds, that Angkor goes and doesn't off Abby, that is a real possibility for them to knock Wu out of there. Jim Bean also, he said somewhere, I don't know if the comments here, that he really enjoys the podcast, everything, but his biggest problem is that I like Rodney. So I just want to, and I addressed it already, but I'll address it again. I think I ranked Rodney higher than I needed to because I knew Phil wasn't going to put him on his list when we ranked the non-winners. Right? You're nodding your head.
Yeah, because I did the same thing with some of my rankings. Like some people I knew you weren't going to put on there, so I would be like, oh, let me get this one up there because I want to make sure they get on there.
Right, and I think Rodney is underrated as a player to begin with, just because he got the goofy brat edit. It's my birthday, I'm doing dishes, all that stuff. It was fun TV, it was good. But all those exit interviews, people said how much people liked Rodney. He was in the numbers for so long during that game. I think he is a great player. I definitely ranked him way too high, I will admit to that. But like I said, I knew Phil wouldn't rank him, and he's underrated to begin with already. So there's my Rodney thing.
Clear. Yeah. I do the same thing when we do the rankings. I have to, make sure my favorites get where I want them, or at least mentioned. Adrian A., Phil and Will, I want to say thanks. Look at us. I come here for all my Survivor updates. The other channel I check is Rob as a podcast. Keep it up. I enjoy this one more because you two are more relatable than Rob. Yes. All
right. Well, yeah, the thing is, Rob knows all the Survivors. He can't really give his honest opinion without kind of stepping on toes. Yeah, we don't know any survivors, so it's like we can say what we want and feel and think.
But
Be
if any
honest about it.
survivors want to meet us, I mean, come aboard. Like here we are. Come on over. We'll be nice to you if you come on our episode, or maybe,
No, because then we'll
maybe
just
do
turn.
a roast.
Then we'll just turn into Rob, and we don't want to. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, survivors, stay away. If you want to like come on our show and make us blow up, stay away. We don't want that. Adrian A kept on going. Personally, I want Jeremy, and my girlfriend wants Wu to win. There are so many others I would like to see make the merge or possibly make Final 3. I'm no Abby fan, but I was talking to my girlfriend and suggested in a Nabarro Survivor, Abby might be a Bizarro Survivor. Abby might be getting a champion edit. As well, she is building a strong case if she makes the Final 3 as a GOAT, which I think would be a mistake certain people will make, thinking they have a stronger case to win than Abby. Just want to know what you guys think. This is kind of what I was talking about, where everybody is looking at Abby as a GOAT, and she's really played a part in every single person who's been voted off.
It's very true. And I'm not – look, if you look how Abby's playing, like she's always voting the majority. She's always voting whoever Abby wants gone goes. I mean, I know last week she really wanted Wu, but she did vote for Varner. So she voted the majority. The big thing with Abby is, can you give her $1 million? Someone like that, someone who blows up and is always fighting and there's always drama. I mean, you're living with these people. We I talk about this all the time. It's like we see 45 minutes a week. It's like they spend 24/7.
It's 72 hours condensed.
If Tasha or if Varner thought Tasha and Savage were annoying, like how many people do you think Abby gets on so many people's nerves? Probably everybody. So not that she's playing a bad game. I just don't think she'll be able to get jury votes.
Yeah.
Her resume is good. She's made the right moves. I mean, imagine if Abby is voted the same way every time, but instead of starting fights and everything, she's only talk strategy. I mean, she'd be a clear favorite to be a winner at this point. But it's her personality. She just rubs people the wrong way. That's
true. Also, real quick, if you're watching and you haven't watched us in the past, try not to post spoilers, even if they're not really 100% confirmed. You think they're somewhat confirmed, try not to post them, just for the people who read the comments and don't know. Me and Will try not to find out any of that stuff.
Yeah, and I don't want to know either.
Yeah, so please don't post the spoilers. We're not going to read Cole Garber's comment on this video. Just a fair warning.
I have not read it yet. So
just in case, I mean, it's something that's kind of been floating around out there in the Survivor world. It's something that definitely has come up. There's been like a whole story about it and everything. But definitely going to try to avoid we're not going to read that one. Try not to post the spoilers on here. Cole, we'll read your other one, but not that one, just because. Thanks for listening. Anyway, Camden Ewan. I liked Abby before this episode. Then she took up the entire episode. No Keith at all, and him and Jeremy are my favorites. It's pretty much the point we got to. Abby wasn't bad at the beginning, and now it's just gotten to the point where we want to see somebody else.
And look at that San Juan del Sur love coming in again.
I know.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that season after season 31 finishes up. I bet I like it a lot more.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's how all the seasons are. Once you know the boot order, it feels a little bit better. Thank you, Cole, for deleting that one comment.
Was it on this video?
No, it was on the other video. I was just clicking around
to
see. I was clicking around to see if we got comments on the other one. Thank you, Cole, for deleting that. That's just one of the things. We try not to put any of the spoilers up, and then if people come here and they just like us, we don't want to be like a spoiler thing. We don't mind spoiling like that, there's going to be 2 tribes at 14, which we said. We gave
gave people a warning.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't give a warning. But, the thing is, you don't know what that means for anybody.
Yeah,
you don't know if that means this person goes or that person goes. We don't want to give, blatant boot spoilers or anything like that. All right, so Nate LaRocca, I think Tasha's winning the season. She's getting a good at it from bottom to the top, controlling Abby, carrying and crying, called out Jeff, super strong alliance with some Takeos and Bion members, her time on Luzon, etc. You think Tasha can win the game? I mean, I think she can. Do you think she's going to?
No, I don't think Tasha wins. I think she can. She's going to get really far, and I think people are going to say, "Wait a second, we got to watch out for Tasha." And I think she's almost too much of a threat because you have to remember she won how many immunities in Cagayan? 2, 3. She's a challenge. Yeah, she won at
And I mean,
least
against
2.
pretty strong competitors. I mean, there was Wu, Spencer, Tony, Trish was even pretty strong, even though she was like willing away.
Cass
So
was great
Cass,
at some of
yeah,
those challenges.
yeah.
So yeah, you got to watch out for Tasha. She is a physical threat, a social threat, a strategic threat, the triple threat. That's my only worry with her. She is playing a great game. Her edit is super positive. I agree. It is. It is kind of a winner's edit, but I still think I'm still going to go with Jeremy. I'm sticking with him.
Yeah, and I said Wentworth at the beginning of the year, and I'm still going with Wentworth. Peter Rubenstein. Abby definitely deserves more credit for her game. What she is doing has been working so far, and it's a different way of playing the game. I think she's getting a huge edit because maybe she ends up going far, and you start to see she's actually good, just like Rodney in Worlds Apart.
Oh, Rodney comes up again.
As a good player. Look at that, huh?
Right. And I think the biggest difference here is that Rodney was actually liked, but that wasn't shown on the show. And Abby is actually, everyone's annoyed with her, but that's not, I mean, that is shown on the show too. So I think that's the biggest difference. One can get jury votes, one can't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Dude,
that really
our comment section is like an episode of this season. It's all Abby, Abby, Abby. We
I
should
know.
stop reading Abby comments because it's really getting annoying. Not to the people that commented. It's just that like she's eating up so much.
She's the whole thing
time.
to talk about. I mean, she's the main thing to talk about right now. Solomon Belay has something not Abby related. I predict Bayan will lose and Spencer goes home. I also predict Wu will find the idol. You think that whole Angkor tribe, I feel like if they are looking for an idol, I mean, Abby kind of stumbled upon it in Philippines. Tasha, I don't know if she's really looking. Savage, I doubt is looking. I really don't think he's looking. I think he's playing the complete old school way. Maybe Wu is the one looking the most. Maybe he realizes, like, I don't want to go next. I don't want to go home before Abby. Like, that's such a pride shot right there.
I would love if Wu found the idol. I'm getting on Team Wu. I just need to see a little bit more from him, kind of mentally knows what he's doing. I don't think he really has the best game sense, but I love that he's playing hard. That's a good prediction. I like the Wu idol because you wouldn't think Wu would find an idol out of all people.
But he did it before, didn't he?
You remember he stole Spencer's clue and stuff?
Yeah.
All that.
Wu's
I don't know if you ever
let on, man. He's just not. He's like he's a little bit of a bore, but I mean, he's getting a little bit better this season. So I don't know.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
Mark Dean, I didn't really see it as we need to get Abby on board in order to get Varner out. It seemed more like Tasha and Savage wanted to get Abby to agree to Varner going and vote with them just so she wouldn't flip out and start screaming, "You're dead to me" to everyone and their mother. That's a pretty good point. They probably just wanted to keep her in the loop so she didn't lose her mind.
Yeah, that's true. And I think a very similar thing can happen that happened in episode 4 is when Tasha pulls Wu aside. You're good after tribal. Like, you're fine. She could say that same thing at the start of this episode. Wu, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, Nate LaRocca in the next comment, Tasha didn't pull in Wu because Abby would get mad and overreact that she is talking to Wu, who voted Abby twice. Abby could have turned this on Tasha because of this. So, yeah, I mean, they're both along the same lines of thinking and exactly what you just said.
No more Abby comments.
There's only 3 comments left, and I don't.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, there's only 3 comments anyway. Survivor Scholars, what do you guys think about a tribe merge back into 2 tribes again next week? Preview seemed very disjointed in the 3-tribe thing. If Angkor keeps losing, we aren't getting enough info from the other tribes. We
spoiled it twice now.
We're a walking,
it's
talking
out.
spoiler, yeah. So it's not going to be. I don't think that they're going to. This week they're not going to do it. The next comment, though, I kind of want to read because this one is something interesting. I don't think it's going to happen, but this would have been interesting. Slim Pickens, what do you think about week 5 being a double boot week? I think they're going to have 2 tribes go to tribal. Only the winner will be safe. 2nd and 3rd place finishers both go to tribal. That means Angkor and Bayan both go to tribal. And then the following week, they recombine into 2 tribes. Got to take this into account when making predictions for next week. Do you think that would be cool?
That is so true. I mean, at some point, we're going to have to start getting 2 people out per episode just because we started with 20 castaways. Like, we don't have 17 episodes. There's only going to be 13. So that's the most fair way to do it, right? Like, I hate when you have, both tribes are going to tribal council. If you win the challenge, you get to eat food while the other tribe, that's kind of fun and all, but it's better to say, hey, the winning tribe doesn't have to go, and the 2 losing tribes have to vote someone off. That would be a great way to do it. I'm on board for that. And maybe not this episode. That could be the next episode. Anytime that we're in the middle of 3 tribes, that is the best way to get rid of 2 people.
Yeah, and I don't understand why they haven't done that yet. Like that makes so much sense because then you get the tribe wins, the other 2 go to tribal, and I think what is holding them back from doing this is right now they had a cast that started with 20 people the fans voted in, and they're trying to get as much out of every character as they can. And I think we're not going to see a double boot till sometime after the merge when there's an individual challenge. They go to tribal. Next half hour, another individual challenge, and then tribal. It's maybe going to be a little bit more predictable. I think what's happening right now is they didn't want to get rid of 2 people this early just because they're going to try to get every drop out of these people beforehand.
Because we've had 3 tribes in a season now. I think this is what, the 4th time, 5th time. So has it never happened before that the 2 losing tribes go? That's crazy.
So. Yeah, that's nuts. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, that's crazy. Peter Rubenstein, also, I think that counting somebody out like Keith based on the amount of confessionals this early on in the game isn't right because as long as they are surviving episodes, less people will be there, which will lead to more confessionals later on. I mean, that's kind of what I was saying last week when everybody tries to count everyone out.
Yeah, that's true, but it's Keith.
Yeah, exactly. It's just Keith. That's the difference. Not so many comments on. Oh, go ahead.
If Keith were gonna be changing and like, look, my head's gonna be in the game this time. I'm gonna strategize. I'm gonna have alliances. All this stuff that he didn't do with San Juan del Sur, and he admits it. Wouldn't we be seeing a little bit of him saying, "Oh, I made the tribe swap. I'm gonna, start aligning with people and stuff." We haven't seen any of that yet. So that's my only thing with Keith.
You would hope. Yeah, you would hope. So
if anyone needs to change, it's Keith.
Yeah.
Him and Cass.
Yeah.
Because what's funny with Spencer is that Spencer didn't have a bad social game in Cagayan. You know what I mean? People really like Spencer. He said when he got back to Ponderosa, everyone was like, "Oh, we were rooting for you. We would have voted for you to win." All this stuff. Like, now, people like Spencer. I don't know why this is becoming such a big deal with feelings.
Well, let me ask you, though. As great of a season as Cagayan is, top 5 season Survivor's ever had, was everybody rooting for Spencer? Because if you look at the final 6, it was Tony who was pissing everyone off. It was Wu who was supposedly stealing stuff. It was Cass who pissed everyone off. It was Tasha, who some people have said has been a bear to live with, and I'm not just talking about Varner. I'm talking about people from Cagayan as well. And it was Trish, who seemed like she annoyed the shit out of everyone. I mean, Lindsay quit the game because she thought she was going to punch Trish in the face. So, that was the final 6 of that season. Does that have anything to do with the reason why they were all going to vote for Spencer if Spencer made it to the final 2? He's the less of all of those evils.
Yeah, but I still think Spencer was liked still. I mean, you could say those other 5 people were disliked, but I mean, from what I saw, I think Tasha was pretty well liked, and Tony, I think Tony pissed a lot of people off with his gaminess, but I think he wasn't that bad to live with.
No, I think Tony was a good guy. I think he just pissed people off from, like you said, the gaminess. I mean, I think Spencer would have won that season and he made the final 2. I just think this season what they're kind of getting at is he was making the same mistakes here as he was at the beginning of Cagayan, where, they get rid of David, they get rid of Garrett, and then it's like, oh shit, Spencer's done. And I guess he wasn't always so aware of what was going on. I guess that's kind of what they're trying to get at. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with Steven. They're giving us an edit that we know isn't true about this person.
Yeah. I just thought it was kind of weird that he needs to improve socially when I think he was doing fine. If Spencer made it to the end in Cagayan, he wins. He got 4th place.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay. Do we have any more comments on this video?
No, we just have 6 on the video we're doing right now. 3 from Joe Proust, who really wants to be on our podcast. Joe, I mean, it's tough. We gotta figure out what the best way to do any of this stuff is. So, it's not gonna happen overnight. Let's see. Henry Alford, do you think anybody will find the Angkor idol?
I don't think so. Because we haven't seen – there's been no hint at it at all. There hasn't even been mentioned. And I know I've been saying, they're not going to show people not finding it. But remember, for Bion, like they were talking about the idol a lot, even before the episode they found it, when Jeremy found it. So you'd think maybe like Varner last week would say, I got to find this thing. And then kind of have it be an Amanda vote in Micronesia. And did he find it? Did he not? And then, we find out, well, he didn't play it. So I don't know. You'd think we would have heard something by this point.
Yeah, who knows?
What do you think?
I would like somebody to find it. I just don't think it's going to happen. I would like it to happen. I think that would be really interesting. But once again, I feel like the only one who's going to go looking for the clue is Wu. And we haven't even heard Wu talk about idols yet. So I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe it's just something that comes up at random this week. Let's see. Mike Toll. This one's all for you, Willie. Love the podcast. Can you please shout out my Survivor friends Carl Sopina and Jordan Tan in an Australian accent?
Oh, man.
I can't do
I
it.
can do it.
No. The dingo ate my baby. That's all I know how to say. And I don't put an accent on it.
Carl Sopina and Jordan Tan.
That was something.
That's it.
Better than I was going to do. I'm not even going to try.
It's done. You have to try. Come on.
No way. The last comment, Nippy Ippen. Who do you think will take Jeff Varner's place as the narrator?
Tasha is, I think, pretty good.
I think it's going to be Tasha or Jeremy, because Jeremy's already been the narrator of a season, and I think he might be the narrator of this season coming up here.
Yeah, it depends whose tribe is now the ones heading to tribal. If it stays with Angkor, I would say Tasha, because she's very emphatic when she speaks and has a lot of good things to say.
Savage, Wu, and a little more understandable than Abby.
Savage cannot be the narrator.
Think about This is just something I just want to draw attention to. Think about the Angkor Beach right now. It's Tasha, who is very well spoken and everything, and very loud and whatever. Savage, who seems like the most monotone person ever, even though he has a very soothing, he says things that he's supposed to, but I feel like he'd be kind of boring to live with. Wu, who has to be boring to live with, and then Abby, who's absolutely nuts. That's the 4 people on this beach right now. That can't be fun living right now over at Angkor. At least Jeff Varner had to bring a smile to some people's faces.
Yeah, no, that's brutal. I'd rather be on Tokyo with Joe and the cast.
Yeah, they seem like they're having a good – and to top it off, Angkor just keeps losing. So it's the most devastated tribe ever. And it's not like they're the most entertaining bunch to live with. Although I hope they turn it around, because I'd like to see not so much Abby, but if Wu, Savage, and Tasha can make a pretty deep run in this game, that would be kind of cool to see them kind of fall apart and then turn it around. I love Savage. I can't help it. But I don't know who would take. I'd say Jeremy is probably going to be the narrator from here on out. They've already set him up a little bit. And I think Bayon's going to start to – I think Bayon goes to tribal this week, so I think we'll hear a lot from Jeremy.
Yeah, I would love Jeremy. He's a good narrator too. He's funny, and he's he'll be mean to people too.
Yeah, he's bitter, and I love that. There's got to be bitterness in the confessionals. Otherwise, it's just simply not entertaining enough.
Okay, that is all the comments. Maybe we'll check once more before ending to see if there are any ones. Okay, I will update now the prop bet game. No one's hit double digits yet, so everyone's really still close. I have 4 points and Phil has 3, so I'm beating Phil. Who is winning in the power rankings?
In the power rankings, I'm winning. I have to pull up the boot list. In the power rankings, I'm winning. You're winning in the prop bet and the fantasy. And then in the boot list, I think I'm winning in the boot list.
Okay.
So it's really even right now.
Left.
This was a lot more fun last year when you just sucked the entire time, and it really made
That's not true. I had one bad episode. I had the one max thing. That was okay. We have Sarah Christine and Dot Miss with
You're never gonna
9 points
that,
each.
Right? This is gonna be fun.
It's DOTMYSS. How do you pronounce that? Dot Miss? I don't know.
I'm sure you're doing great.
Ryan Lyon, Colton Shaw, Brian Johnson, Floor, and Aaron Jakes all have 8. AKA Karma Kid, Ultra Spur, Ray Tonlin, Maurice Lang, not Maurice Lang, just AKA Karma Kid, Ultra Spur, Ray Tonlin have 7. And then Maurice K. Cranberry, Noah Trader, and Mike Muaz have 6.
Sixth place is first place? Or 6 points is first place?
No, 9.
Oh, I heard you say 6. I didn't hear 9.
No, I mean there's 4 people with 6, 3 people with 7, 5 people with 8, and 2 people with 9.
Did you read all them already, or did I just cut you off completely?
I read them all. Maybe no one heard them.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. You were going in and out a little bit, so maybe I lost you. Hopefully everybody got that. Who was in first again? Because I honestly didn't hear it.
Sarah, Christine, and Dotmus.
Oh, they were in first. Oh, I thought you went from the backwards. I didn't realize you started from the top. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I wasn't
they
really
have.
paying attention. I zone out when you talk. You know.
There you go. That's Phil.
Yeah, exactly. Not caring. All right. Yeah, I mean that's a really long predictions episode. We're gonna get like 7 views on this one. That was a really long one. If you made it all the way through, congratulations. Cole Garber, don't stop listening, even though we made you take those comments down. Joe Proust, never give up the dream. You never know when things are going to change. Just right now.
Yeah, the off season, we'll figure something out maybe.
Exactly. Right now, me and Willie, we can't even control the audio for ourselves, so I can't imagine what we would do with 3 people. So never give up the dream, though. Yeah, probably the off season. I mean, I can't imagine we're going to have much to talk about anyway. Cool. So everybody, thanks for listening. I took your line.